how we do it. You're making things up again.
From the center stage to the understage.
Broadcasting the best of underground Broadway.
Ladies and gentlemen. Hey, it's Maher. Here's your host.
And hello, welcome back everybody to another week below Broadway. What is it? We're 2 weeks into the first 2 weeks of the year. That was redundant. We're 2 weeks into the first 2 weeks of the year. We're 2 weeks into the start of a new year, and my team's still on vacation, so I'm still working around giving some people some time off, and I haven't yet got a chance to really get back to what we wanted to do. I got a lot planned for this year, and part of what I've got planned this year is seeing more shows in person. One of the things that I actually did, whole New Year's resolution thing, I want to start the year off with going to see a show. So I went down to the theater in Toronto. I went down to the Mirvish, and I saw Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And to be fair, I have not seen other productions. I have not seen other other versions of Joseph live, like the touring ones. I've seen smaller scale theater from like Dinner Theater and Stage West in Calgary. I've seen school productions of it. And I've seen just very I don't want to say not professional, like amateur theater productions and kind of like that scale of theater. I haven't seen, the other tours and the other productions and the other stagings. I have seen the movie, but this was like the first Broadway tour. So I was really excited to see this. And it was so good. It was really, really good. But it got me to thinking, about the way the audience and the hype and all that, because to be honest, I didn't watch Joseph for like 6 months, right? I haven't heard the soundtrack. I haven't heard the cast album. Didn't listen to the soundtrack from the movie. So I've taken a break from kind of seeing that one. I don't know why. It's been out of my playlist, not intentionally. And then I saw that there was tickets available for cheap, and I'm like, yeah, I got to go see it. But I didn't go online. I didn't watch reviews. I didn't research the reviews of what people thought about this show. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to go in with like an open mind of just like, let me see this, let me see what I see, and just like give it to me, right? And I didn't want my opinion to be skewed by other people's opinion of it, which I'm really, really glad, because after I saw the show, I did go onto YouTube, search up some different reviews of it, and now that I kind of look back on what those other creators kind of said about the show, I do somewhat share the same opinions, but not in a bad way. It's just kind of like as like respectful commentary on the show itself. But there's a lot of things I want to kind of get off my mind on that. I have a very quick show today. Got a few songs lined up. Also trying some new sound effects. So please don't hate on me for having a sound effects sound a little bit weird today. The team is trying new things, and we're going to be trying new things with them. What do we want to see? Oh, we're going to listen to a song. Here we go.
Broadcasting the best of underground Broadway.
BelowBroadway.com.
I never made this world, I didn't even lose it, and I don't know what said it was fair, but they had a garden once, they had the chance to choose it, they gave it away, including my share, and now we're lost in the wilderness, lost crying.
cakes. Everybody loves Louis, including George. Not afraid to be gooey. Louis sells running cakes. Everybody gets along with him. That's the trouble. Nothing's wrong with him. Louis has to make his way. George can only make his. Louis it is.
So, I had to go to a music break really quick because I really, really needed to get my playbill or my program so I can see names. And speaking of names, we were listening to Heath Saunders. That was singing Lost in the Wilderness. And then we've got Samara Ariel with Sunday in the Park from George. That's a nice show. Anyway, so I had to get my program because one of the things that we were talking about, one of the things that the other... Okay, so back onto Joseph, right? So the topic of Joseph. I was mentioning... I didn't watch the videos and stuff, but afterwards I did. And one of the creators, he mentioned that something about the final bows kind of irked me, or irked him. And then now that I thought of it, it did kind of just like throw me off, right? I don't know what the other shows were like. I don't know who gets the final bow, but you would think that in a show called Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, the character Joseph would get the final bow because it's kind of like the titular character. But in this show, the final bow, I don't know if it was Joseph. And it made me think about it. I'm just like, in some of the videos that I've seen, okay, so side note, they actually make an announcement saying that don't record the show, but you're allowed to record the Megamix. So I've been watching videos of the Megamix over and over because it's an absolutely amazing Megamix. And now that I've watched it, I've been looking for that and paying attention to it. And I've noticed that in some of the productions, Joseph, played by Jack Yarrow, doesn't get the final bow, and it instead goes to the narrator. Which, no shade to Vanessa Fisher. I mean, you deserve it. It's amazing. I thought it would be like the titular character gets the final bow. I don't know. That was just kind of. It's something that someone said, and if I didn't hear it from someone else, I wouldn't have thought about it, and it kind of made me think a little bit more about that as a whole. The other thing that kind of made me think a little bit more is, I think I've mentioned this before, it's just kind of like audience participation within the theater. It's just a very different culture. And my mom made a comment. Oh, we're going to talk about this later. I'll save that for later. But I went to the show I went to see the show with my mom, and we were just like talking about audience participation, and there's just a very, very different vibe. And I think I've mentioned this when I've seen Legally Blonde in the past compared to like the pro shot that was on MTV, or even when I went to see shows in New York. I always feel like there's a different vibe in touring productions. I don't know why, or even in, I don't want to say amateur because they're not amateurs, they're professionals, but in like amateur scale productions, there's just a different vibe in the audience. Like in Legally Blonde, right? You've got, it starts with, oh my God, you guys. It's like, oh my God. And then the crowd's all cheering, right? And I get the pro shot was probably set up and it's like, all right, everybody cheer. But there's a lot of energy in the audience, and like the audience is like, they're screaming and they're wooing, they're cheering, they're laughing. And it's all like, the audience is very much a part of the show. You know what I mean? It's like, the audience is very much playing that extra role that is there in the fourth wall. And when I see shows here in Canada, it doesn't have that same kind of vibe. It has a very much like call and response type of vibe where the people on stage do something. It's like do, sing, dance, dance, pause. And then the audience is like, okay, audience is participating by applauding. Now the audience stops and the show continues. It's very much like a call and response. And I always found that it has a very, I don't know, very blocky, very 4/4 time signature way of thinking about just like this, that. There's no like, ooh, you know what I mean? But I'll digress from that. No, I won't. It really irked me because like even in the Megamix, right? So like you've got Vanessa up there on stage. She's like, all right, everybody, get up from your seats. It's time to go. And the music's going. I'm like, I'm already up on my feet cheering because it's like, fuck yeah, it's always a amazing show, right? But then you hear her kind of like prompting the audience, like, okay, guys, get up. Like, no, actually get up. No, actually, guys, get up. I want to see you on your feet. And it's like, the audience member, it's not that they don't know that they're allowed to get up and they have fun, but I don't know, they feel as if the theater is a movie theater and what they see on stage is not actually happening. I really don't know what to describe of it. We're going to pause that thought for a second because I feel like I'm about to just keep on going for a rant. I honestly could rant forever about this, and we're going to talk about popcorn in a second, but let's listen to some more music.
Broadcasting the best of underground Broadway.
BelowBroadway.com.
We're going to ask for audience participation here, folks. A toast to the groom, and to the bride, from your sister, who is always by your side, to your union, and the hope that you provide. May you always be satisfied. I remember that night, I might forget that night for the rest of my days. I remember those soldier boys tripping over themselves to win our praise. I remember that dream like candlelight, like a dream that you can't quite place. But Alexander, I'll never forget the first time I saw your face. I have never been the same. Intelligent eyes in a hunger pang frame. And when you said hi, I forgot my dang name. Set my heart aflame, every part aflame. This is not a game. I'm sure I don't know what you mean. You forget yourself. Is that right? My name is Angelica Schuyler. Where's your family from? So this is what it feels like to match wits with someone at your level. What the hell is the catch? It's the feeling of freedom and seeing the light. It's Ben Franklin with the key and the kite. You see it right. The conversation lasted 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Everything we said in total agreement. It's a dream and it's a bit of a dance. It's a bit of a posture, it's a bit of a stance. He's a bit of a flirt, but I'ma give it a chance. I asked him about his family. Did you see his answer? His hands started fidgeting. He looked askance. He's penniless. He's flying by the seat of his pants. Handsome, boy, does he know it. Peach fuzz, and he can't even grow it. I want to take him far away from this place. Then I turn and see my sister's face, and she is. And I know she is. And her eyes are just. Then I realize 3 fundamental truths at the exact same time. I'm a girl in a world in which my only job is to marry rich. My father has no son, so I'm the one who has to social climb for one. And then the oldest and the wittiest and the gossip in New York City is insidious. And Alexander is penniless. Oh, that doesn't mean I want him any less. He's after me because I'm a Schuyler sister that elevates his status. I'd have to be naive to set that aside. Maybe that is why I introduced him to Eliza. Now that's his bride. Nice going, Angelica, he was right. You will never be satisfied. I know my sister like I know my own mind. You will never find anyone as trusting or as kind. If I tell her that I love him, she'd be silently resigned. He'd be mine. She would say I'm fine, she'd be lying. But when I fantasize at night, it's Alexander's eyes as I romanticize what might have been if I hadn't sized him up so quickly. At least my dear lies as his wife. At least I keep his eyes in my life. To the groom, from your sister, who is always by your side, to your union and the hope that you provide. May you always be satisfied. And I know she'll be happy as his bride. And I know he will never be satisfied. I will never be satisfied.
BelowBroadway.com.
That was fun. I told you guys, audience participation. You need more of it. I hope you took that opportunity to participate in the song. By the way, really, really good eyeliner on her. Nora Schell. Very, very good. I like the look. Anyways, so as I was saying, the audience participation thing, it's just kind of like, I feel as if we need to encourage our fellow Canadians to be less polite in the theater. Like, yes, be polite, respect the show, follow those rules, but like, you don't need to be solid as a rock. You're allowed to participate. You're allowed to cheer. You're allowed to laugh. Like, even, I don't know if I said this before, but like, when I saw Legally Blonde in Calgary, the only time that I saw any kind of audience participation was during the gay or European number, when all the old people finally started chuckling a little bit. They kind of giggled at that, and the audience was an older crowd. It was like a very, very, it was an old crowd at a dinner theater. What can I say? But I enjoyed it. It was an amazing show, and so yeah. I think there should be more cheering, more participating, but also let's talk about the class and the culture of the theater. I think that there needs to be a healthy balance struck between finding a way to encourage more people to go to the theater and see these kind of musical shows, as well as finding a way to respect the tradition of the theater. And when I say tradition of the theater, I talk about popcorn. And for me, when I smell popcorn, I think, I don't know, like movie theater, festivals, carnival, cheap events, right? Like, it's a crowd pleaser. And granted, from the business side of things, like having run concessions, we know the business, we know the numbers. Popcorn is one of the most profitable things out there to sell at the concession stands, right? It costs pennies to produce a bag, and at the theater where I saw it, I think it was $5 or $6 for like a smallish, medium-sized bag of popcorn. So certainly there's a profit margin, and there's definitely something to be said about pumping the smell of popcorn into the air, whether it's like what Disney does, putting like through fake scents, or like actually making popcorn. Like, there's something about that smell that gets people excited, or it feels fun. But I don't think that the environment of a theater, a live theater, oh, hello, kitty cat. I don't think that the environment of a live theater is the kind of place where it should be downscaled like that. It was, and one of the things that I noticed specifically was there was no ventilation for the popcorn and for the steam, right? So I don't know if this is just me being super, super specific and observant, but when you go to the movie theaters, when you go to places like this, even when you go to the mall and you see those like Colonel's popcorn, they've got a ventilation fan right smack over the thing. And it's something to do with capturing the steam, venting it out properly. It certainly is going to preserve the infrastructure, right? In the theater where I was at, they've got their little popcorn machines. They've got several machines on several floors, a couple on each end actually for each wing of the theater. And there's no ventilation, right? So obviously the smell permeates the entirety of the building, but just looking up at the ceiling, right? There was a light fixture above. If you look through all the other light fixtures, all the other ones are nice and clean, right? There's no buildup of dust. You know, there's a little bit of buildup. You know, that's just standard. But like, there's no like honking dust bunnies on it, and there's just this like massive honking thing of like dust bunnies because like the steam is hot and sticky and oily, and it's just, you're not venting it out. And I think I have to think that the theater has done that because either it's profitable or it's a great way to kind of entice families to come. You know, you bring refreshments, you bring snacks, you do that kind of stuff, and the families will come, right? But I don't think that popcorn is an appropriate snack. I don't know. I might be completely out of line on this, and I definitely want to know what other people think on this. But I think popcorn is a little bit out of line. I don't think that showing up to the theaters in like ripped jean shorts, flip-flops, and you know, ripped t-shirts, like I don't think that's appropriate. I'm not saying that you have to wear a full-on formal tux. Quite frankly, I would honestly love if that was the dress code. I think just like for fun, right? If that was a fun thing to do once in a while, that was fun. But like wearing something respectable to the theater, it's just, I think it's a matter of respect for the people who are putting on a show for you and all the work that has gone into making the show happen for you. It's like you dress appropriately. You don't need to wear a suit. You don't need to wear a tuxedo. You don't need to wear a ball gown. But you know, a decent pair of pants, a tucked in button-up shirt. Like I think there's something to be said about putting a little bit of effort into dressing up and I don't know, just enjoying that moment, if I can say it. Like, can I say enjoy the moment? Yeah.
Broadcasting the best of underground Broadway.
BelowBroadway.com.
Why do I hear no music happening? Oh, it's because I hit the wrong button.
Each day I live, I want to be a day to give the best of me. I'm only one, but not alone, and my finest day is yet unknown. I broke my heart for every gain to taste the sweet. Oh, I face the pain, and I rise and fall. Yet through it all, this much remains. I want one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be. When all of my dreams are one heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. So give me one moment in time when I'm racing with destiny. Oh, then in that one moment of time, I will feel eternity. I live to be the very best. I want it all, no time for less. See, I've laid the plans, and now lay the chance here in my hands. I want one moment in time when I'm more than I thought I could be. When all of my dreams are one heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. Give me one moment in time when I'm racing with destiny. Oh, then in that one moment of time, I will feel eternity. See, you're a winner for a lifetime if you see
hellobroadway.com.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. The sun's in my heart and I'm ready for love. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain, I've a smile on my face. I'll walk down the lane with a happy refrain. I'm singing, just singing in the rain. Dancing in the rain. Ya-da-da, da-da-da-da. I'm happy again. I'm dancing and singing in the rain.
I don't know how this show turned from me talking about Joseph to all of a sudden talking about ranting and theater etiquette, but somehow we have landed to this point, and we're, what, like half hour, 45 minutes in? Half hour. And I'm looking at the clock, and I don't have very much time, so I don't really actually have very many songs lined up. So spoiler alert, we're going to go back to talking about Joseph and the show. One of the things that I mentioned as part of the rant that we're trying to move away from was just like the whole back and forth of like audience not feeling, I don't know, comfortable clapping and cheering in the middle of the show, or like during they feel as if they almost have to wait for the performance to stop or pause before picking it up and then go in. And one of the things that I felt that kind of made this show kind of double down on that particular flaw in, I don't know, our audience was the use of kids. And I don't want to say that the kids were bad. The kids were amazing. As a matter of fact, I went down to the stage source afterwards, got a whole bunch of autographs from the kids. They were just like fantastic, just like chill. They all seemed like they really, really want to be like on the stage. So good luck to all y'all kids. Y'all were great. But let's talk about the kids. So like in shows, I love when kids are used like to actually do something to the plot. And this is what one of the other creators on YouTube said. And had I not listened to him say this, I would not have clicked like this is what bugged me about the show. But it's like when kids in any show really are being used in a very particular role, perhaps as like a comic relief, or like to serve as a punchline, or just like something to pander to the audience, and the audience has to kind of applaud that, oh yay, a kid did this, like because we have to applaud any kid, right? I feel as if that, in some cases, threw off the vibe of the show. Maybe just because I wasn't used, and again, spoiler alert, the kids actually play the roles of some of the brothers, right? So you've got all of Jacob's sons, right? And some of the kids throw on a beard, and they play the sons. And so obviously they're short, they're a kid, but they're playing a son, and it's just a matter of not having other castmates. And same thing with I don't know, the shtick, the farce of throwing on a costume or throwing on a beard. Same thing with like how Jacob himself. Jacob was never played by an actor individually. Jacob was played by the narrator. So Vanessa throws on a gray beard and kind of like lowers her voice, and that's kind of like the shtick of the show. I don't know if I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's kind of like the farce of kids sometimes doing it. Kids played Potiphar, and in the jail cell you've got the baker and you've got the butler, and so you're looking at kids doing it, and kids are taking on the lines, and they're really, really, really good at delivering the role. But I feel as if the placement of the kids at those character positions kind of forces the audience to feel like they have to respond. And so when the audience is when I feel like the audience should be kind of cheering and responding to the performance as a whole, they're kind of like stop and go. But when the audience is kind of like supposed to acknowledge that, oh yeah, just a kid, it was just on stage, any other role, they almost pause the show and kind of clap, and it's almost as if the show has been directed in a sense that it allows for those pauses. And I don't know, for me, it threw off the vibe, and I couldn't pinpoint what it was until I saw someone else say it, and yeah, it just kind of like clicked. And that's not to say it wasn't good. It was honestly a really, really amazing show. I've heard people say that the set design was kind of cheap and low budget looking. I honestly did not think that. I thought it was amazing. I like the simplicity where you really don't need a lot to make a show happen. There's some shows that can pull it off really well, and I think Joseph did a really good job. It would be nice to see if the stage had like a rising revolve that they could have done just like they had in the London tour, but the stage here didn't, so that was sad. But overall the stage looked nice. Beautiful design, beautiful colors, beautiful sound, beautiful everything. And the cast was really, I think, my favorite number from the show. If we don't count the Megamix, because that is by far my favorite, I really, really, really liked. I can't. It's got to be like the Pharaoh's dream being explained. When Pharaoh explains his dream, the whole like Vegas aspect part of the set had really nice, like, what are those Egyptian statue things called where it looks like the cast or the Sphinx, or like, but they're standing on their hind legs holding a staff or something. Those, y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyways, these two like Egyptian statue things come out from the side of the stage, and if you know the show, there's a little bit of back and forth where mid-song Joseph asks for Pharaoh to explain it again, and so they go from like, normal everyday back to like the Elvis style, disco lights, Vegas theme. And the way that they did this really cool thing where those Egyptian statues swing out guitars and like move their head and sing along and dance along, that was actually really, really cool. And I honestly really appreciated that particular aspect. It was really good. What else can I say about Joseph? It was really good. I really like this production. I think it's a really, really nice tour. Aside from those one or two things that I said about the kids, but again, I can't blame them. It's just like, it's a different take on the show, and I have no benchmark to compare it to. And I think I think in other places, I think in probably New York, or I think in London where it's coming from, I think the kid being part of the show in those other aspects, it becomes less about farce, less about shtick, and more about like actual performance. But it's just, I don't know, maybe I think the audience that I saw it with just wasn't the right vibe. I don't know. Speaking of vibe, I really, really, really want to play a Joseph Megamix song. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. So, like I said, there's the ladies and gentlemen, please don't record the phone call. You're not allowed to do the show with your phones. But what they did say is that you are allowed to record the Megamix. And so I will play that for you. It was so fun. Okay, let me line this up. Guys, thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next week. I got to head out, but enjoy this one.
Broadcasting the best of underground Broadway.
BelowBroadway.com.
Wait, that's not supposed to happen. Oh, stand by, y'all. Technical difficulties. Sorry, y'all. Stand by. Technical difficulties. Let's try again. Take 2.
Broadcasting the best of underground Broadway.
BelowBroadway.com.
Joseph.
When 7 cows in my bed at night. Hey, let me hang me, help me else get to the cow, sit it down. Then the bangles with the backers, it's a comfortable. Yes, I did. Yeah, but it do me better like I'm a monkey of the sea. The fingers were a sinner, you way over. These dreams got me back on that. Just tell me what it means. Yeah. Now you know that thing tastes too bad. Don't be cruel to yourself. Help me now, baby. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Oh, such a good show. Such a good show. Tosh, such an amazing performer. Vanessa, Jack, thank you guys so much for signing my playbills. Thank you so much. My playbill, my program. Everyone else who signed, like Erica, Natalie, Jabri, Shane, everyone. I appreciate the kids. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good night. Go see the show. Go see the show just to see that. That was amazing, y'all. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the best of Underground Broadway. Now available on all podcast platforms. Subscribe today.
BelowBroadway.com.